Hello friends, welcome to EduTab. As you already know, we are running a series of successful stories of RBI Grade B managers, and today there is one very inspirational story of Mr. Ravi Chandra. So Ravi, first of all, many congratulations from our side. A lot of efforts finally achieved their destinations. So welcome, we welcome you. So over to you now.
Thank you, Veer. Thank you so much.
So how's the feeling right now?
Yeah, quite happy. After 3 to 4 years of struggle, I have been able to achieve something respectable and quite significant
Yeah,
thing.
definitely.
Yeah, I'm very happy, and thank you, EduTap team, for giving me the opportunity to share my journey to the future aspirants. I feel this session or this video will help the aspirants in some way or the other.
Definitely it's going to be. And pleasure is actually all our. So let me give you the brief outlay. First, we'll talk about your struggle that you have already mentioned that you are a senior player in this game. So we talk about your background, and then we move on to the strategy part.
Fine.
Okay. So tell us about your educational background. When you passed out from your college, what is your graduation subject, and how you came across this RBA as an examination?
Fine. Yeah. I graduated in 2014 as an electronics and communication engineer. Immediately after that, I got placement in Tata Consultancy Services as systems engineer. So I worked for 3 years in Hyderabad, TCS campus. And in mid 2017, I resigned to pursue my career aspirations. I decided to pursue civil services option. So I prepared for CSC for 1 year. After my first prelims, I could not make it, so it is a very tough feeling to digest. And then when I was low, one of my friend, he told me about RBI grade B. This is very good opportunity. So then I came to know about RBI. I applied for RBI in 2018. uh, there is hardly 15-20 days time for preparation, so I could not make it. I missed in the prelims itself, RBI first attempt. And then journey continued 2019, and I cleared civil services prelims and was preparing for main. So at that time I could not give RBI. And 2020 again in civils and mains. After 2020 civils mains, again RBI opportunity came to me. This time I decided to give it a strong shot, and then prepared for RBI. And this is my second attempt. 2021 is my second attempt, and fortunately I was able to make it.
Make it. Yeah. So Ravi, as we were discussing, so as a senior player, many students came across many hardship. And you already, when we were discussing, you mentioned that you came from a very humble background.
Yes.
So there is a lot of hardship that has already been faced by you. So we
Yes.
want to hear your side of the story. That what were the hardship that has been faced by you, and how you overcome that? Because many of the aspirants need a motivation from basically a source of inspiration from where they can learn. Efforts everyone can put in, but many a times inspiration is lacking.
So I came from a agricultural family. My father is a farmer. My entire schooling was in Telugu medium. Till 10th class I am a Telugu medium student. And then uh, for engineering I moved to a city. That is the first time I was in a metro city. And then during graduation itself I decided to go for something big. So after working for three years in TCS, I saved some money for pursuing my aspirations. So with that money I went for civil services. And in one and a half year, that money was, I mean, it is gone. So then started financial struggles. My parents used to support me as much as possible, but that amount is not sufficient. And apart from that, I have taken personal loan also for pursuing civil services. Still I am paying the EMIs, monthly EMIs. So these are the normal things happen with lower middle class people. So do not leave your dreams just by facing few hardships. That's what I say. And there is a way. When there is a will, there is a way. So after coming back from Delhi, I started working part-time in an institute in Hyderabad for civil services, content preparation and question preparation. So parallelly, I used to prepare for my civil services and RBI. Even during RBI preparation also, this year also, I was working on a part-time job. So this happens normally. So that is how we have to manage. If we have difficulties, that does not mean that we cannot achieve our goal or we have to let our dreams go off. So we have to manage both the things parallelly, and God will give you a way. That's it. That's what I can say. If your determination is that much powerful, there will be a way.
There will be a way.
Yeah.
Definitely, you are such a source of inspiration for many of the aspirants. Guys, you can look at the person who is even have taken a personal loan for his dream. So there is, if there is a will, there is a way. Yes. Yeah. One more question is coming to mind. You already mentioned that you have joined some firm for or a part-time basis.
Yes. Yes.
So how you manage the job and how you manage the preparation?
Okay, my preparation starts in the morning, like from 8 o'clock onwards. I used to start my preparation till 1 o'clock, and then from 2 to 7 is the job timings, 2 to 7, and then from again around 2 hours in the night after dinner I used to prepare. So effectively 6 to 7 hours a day I used to get by for preparation.
Okay. So Ravi, I think you will definitely become a source of inspiration for many of the aspirants who may find it difficult to maintain the rhythm over the years. Many a times aspirants lose out the confidence that I have failed in my this attempt or that attempt, so I should walk out of this race. But you are a source of inspiration for many of the aspirants, because you, not even you are facing the hardship, but you are also managing your dream. And finally, the God has blessed you with the achievement. So Ravi, now coming to the strategy part. So let's start with the phase one. We will discuss the strategy in the three phases, like phase one, phase two, and the interview session. First, start with the phase one. So from engineering background, so I think actually I am an engineer also. So generally, engineers have a feeling that QR is an easy section, and we do not have to put any extra effort. Is it really a myth, or is it true?
I would say it is partly true and partly it is a myth, because the quantitative aptitude section, many of the engineering students might be able to feel comfortable with if they are having sufficient amount of practice engineering during engineering days and all. But the reasoning part, logical reasoning section, especially the standard of the questions in RBI, they are very tough nut to crack. So even I have to prepare especially for reasoning part. So I would say we cannot completely say that our engineering graduates have a advantage in the phase one. It is not true. For quantitative aptitude, I agree. For GA and reasoning, it is the same platform for everyone, irrespective of the background.
Okay. So how you prepared the GA section?
General awareness, I used to go through newspaper daily. Apart from that, I used to attend the EduTap sessions, live sessions taken by EduTap team on the YouTube, especially Guru Kirat sir, Ritika ma'am. They used to take a lot many sessions. Month-wise current affairs, they used to make us prepare and revise. So those sessions especially helped me a lot in revising the GA portion. And then I used to prepare Banker Sardas magazine, monthly magazine. They used to release short and sweet magazine that I used to revise multiple times. This is my GA source.
Okay. So actually, one more question is coming into my mind regarding the phase one. How many mock tests have you appeared for practicing the phase one?
I have given around 10 to 15 mocks.
10 to 15.
Yeah.
Is there a we can say a quantified number in terms of taking the mock test? Can we quantify that at least you need to give this much of mock test to get it the real idea of the examination, or even a single one is enough?
I feel that is quite subjective. I mean, it depends upon the candidate, because the purpose of mock test is to analyze our strong and weak areas and then improve upon the weaker areas. So after giving a mock test, I used to analyze the test performance, and make note of the mistakes I have made so that I can revise, especially GA portion we used to forget. So I used to make notes and revise the before the next mocks. So it depends on the individual. I cannot say you have to give 30, 40 marks like that. But the thing is, we have to improve our performance test after test and maintain high accuracy so that we can clear the examination easily.
Okay. So guys, one thing I would like to add up, whenever you are doing a mock test, when we have a very casual approach, what we do, we see our rank, we see our scores, and that's it. As Ravi is suggesting, that you also need to analyze it, because on that basis, after analyzing, you will analyze your strength and weakness, and then you will be capable enough to identify your mistakes and to rectify them.
Yes.
So coming to the phase 2, Ravi.
Yeah, phase 2 for ESI, as I have been preparing for CSC for the last 3 years, so the government schemes and all, the economic concepts and all, I'm quite comfortable with. For revising the current affairs related portion with respect to CSC, ESI, I depended upon again EduTap videos, and then the current affairs magazines that I have referred. I revised the same thing, and few of the civil services magazines that I used to prepare. This is for ESI.
Okay.
And then for FM, for management, I have read EduTap summary sheets. I revised them multiple times. I made mnemonics or shortcuts or memory mental images for remembering the theories or the proponents of the theories and all.
Yeah, there are so many theories.
Yes, theories. And for finance, again, for some of the concepts which are new to me, I depended upon the summary sheets. Other than that, finance also, the basic concepts I'm comfortable because of my previous preparation. That's it. Finance is quite comfortable from the beginning. So management only I have to put extra efforts. This each student have to analyze his own strength and weaknesses. So accordingly they have to plan the timing and the preparation efforts, how much they have to put for each subject.
So if we analyze whatever you are saying, so we can say that there is an advantage to the UPSC aspirants because they are aware of finance, they are aware of ESI. So, and even they have to prepare for the English descriptive in the mains. So I think there is an advantage for the UPSC aspirants.
I would say a subtle advantage is there. That is for sure. But this year, because of the descriptive pattern and typing 2000 words in 90 minutes given time, that is a little bit challenge if we do not practice enough. So the answer structure, if the UPSC guys have enough answer writing practice, then it will be an added advantage. Otherwise, if they are just preparing for CSC without much answer writing practice, then they are like other candidates. There is no big difference in the descriptive part because it is typing, and if you do not have answer writing practice, again you are on the same platform like others.
Okay. So coming to the descriptive part only, what was your approach regarding the descriptive writing, as we have to type the word? So what method that you have chosen? Have you written it in the passage type formation, or some point wise, or some other pattern like some small passages?
Actually, it is a combination of both passage and point.
Point.
Depends on the question. So I used to read the question. Out of the 10 markers, we have to choose 2. So I after reading all the 3 questions, I decided the 2. And then for each question, I have to prepare the structure in my mind. I use it to spend 2 minutes. What is the demand of the question? What my intro should be, so that the examiner can understand in the initial lines itself that the guy got the question correctly. The demand of the question he understood. So my introduction used to be short, like 30-40 words. And then in the main answer part, I used to write a short paragraph initially, and then 3-4 subheads, depends on the question. Like they have asked about different institutions like SIDB, NHB. This in finance they have asked. So for each institution there is a subheading and 4-5 main bullet points under that subheading. I used to write points. And again, some questions are there where they have asked opinion. For those questions, I used to write pros and cons like that. So it is a mix of points and paragraphs. I would put it that way.
Okay. So one more question is coming to me to my mind regarding the objective part.
Yes.
Many students think that when you are preparing for the RBI, you need to remember a lot of facts and figures. And actually, when it comes to the schemes, and the schemes play a major role in the RBI phase 2, especially the economy.
Yes.
So there are a lot of questions that are related to facts and figures. So it is confusing for a student that how he can retain it. So is there a magical wordings from your end that you want to suggest?
There is no magic as such. We used to we have a peer group. One of my friend roommate is he also prepared for RBI. So we used to discuss these, especially the figures part and the budget or economic survey. We used to take one scheme, and I used to ask him questions, and another scheme he used to ask me. Like that, when we are going out or going for lunch or dinner, we used to talk casually like that. In that way, it helped us to remember better instead of sitting alone and mugging up things. We have to make it like a conversation, or we have to remember it in a casual way multiple times. If we do it, I subconsciously we will remember it, and when we look at the option, we definitely recollect it. That is how I experienced it during my mocks also.
Okay. So, and one more thing is, should one try to achieve maximum in the objective, or because descriptive is a very subjective portion?
Yes.
You never know what kind of question can be asked.
Yes.
So how one can score maximum? Should he focus more on the objective, subjective, or what's your take? Or should he keep a balance between the two?
I would say, as there is no subjectivity involved, if you attempt correctly, you will get full marks in objective. So go for it for the maximum. Try to get 50 out of 50 if possible. Although it's difficult, but achieve for it. I mean, aim for it.
But I think if we talk about the practicality or in terms of scoring in it, I think 40 plus is we can say anyone can score if he's prepared enough.
Yes, I feel so. Yeah, this year I do not have mains experience prior, especially in RBI. This is my first main, so I feel 40 plus in both papers is very decent score this year.
Okay. So I think we have covered most of the points regarding to phase 2. And you just mentioned that this was your first mains. Yes. So actually, I want to ask what went wrong in your first attempt?
In first attempt, I hardly prepared for 15 to 20 days for RBI. Actually, after my civils prelims, I came to know about RBI and I applied it in October. I think exam was in September, I guess. Hardly 20-25 days left for me. And I am not ready for the quantitative reasoning, logical reasoning. Quantitative aptitude, I am fine then also. Reasoning, logical reasoning, the RBI standard is very tough. So at that time, I was not up to that mark. So this year I improved upon that area and cleared phase 1.
So we can say that if you are preparing even for the RBI, being a UPSC aspirant doesn't only help you. You need a dedicated preparation for this particular examination.
Yes, especially for phase 1. Phase 1 is, I think, the crucial stage, I would say, in RBI grade B. Because in phase 2, you can manage with the ESI knowledge you might be having as UPSC aspirant. Finance and management with proper plan and preparation, you would be able to manage. But for phase 1, we need more practice, especially mock tests, different kind. We have to solve different types of logical reasoning questions. In UPSC also there is a CSAT paper, but the standard is very different from RBI, that standard.
So I think we have covered most of the strategy related to phase 1 and phase 2. Let's come to our big day, that is the interview.
Yeah.
So what were your sources for this interview part? Have you prepared any specific source?
The primary source is RBI website. where entire the RBI functions, different departments, and what they do. Recent circulars of RBI, and what are the new technologies, like what is the R&D of RBI, what is going on there. And based on our profile, we can anticipate some questions, like being a from agricultural background, I can expect questions on the agricultural reforms or the agricultural initiatives of RBI and NABARD, and the priority sector lending related norms and all. And apart from that, I use it to revise the current affairs part. The already I have prepared for mains, so that I use it to revise. And then reports of RBI, statutory reports are there, annual report and trends and progress of banking report. Those two reports I have read, and I appeared for mocks for analyzing my performance, like confidence levels, body language. So
So,
that's
have you taken the mock interviews that are organized by the EduTap?
yes, EduTap's mock is my first mock.
Okay, was it helpful?
So,
Was it helpful?
yeah, it is helpful, and in that mock they gave suggestions like what are the areas to cover. Later on, I worked on those areas.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, one question that is coming to my mind is, you dropped out from your job in 2017, and after
Yes,
that you started preparing.
yes,
So was a gap of almost we can say 3 years, if we say, or 3.5 years in your
3.5.
this entire preparation time.
Yes, yes.
So was there a question regarding this gap in your interview?
Yes, they have asked what were you doing from mid 2017. I told them about my civil services journey, and they asked like what are your optional till which stage you have gone, and when you appeared for RBI, how you prepared for this interview. Such type of questions they asked.
Okay.
What are the sources?
So what was it, more on the technical side or more on the HR side?
No, mine was mostly based on the biodata. Profile based questions were asked, and many counter questions were there based on the HR related answers that I have given.
Okay.
And technical aspects were very few. Hardly they asked about the PSL norms and why they are required, and that's it. Very few technical things, mostly biodata based.
Okay. Yeah. So was the panel cordial to you?
I would say initially it was a stress interview. The chairman sir deliberately tried to put me in a corner by through counter questions. Like I told them, I would like to serve in the public sector. I want to closely work for the welfare of people. So then they asked, why not SBI? Why RBI? Why not you become a manager in SBI? You will deal with more people directly. And like that they and regarding policy, I told, if I come to RBI, I can participate and contribute for policy making. Then I told, they asked what define policy making, like that questions they asked initially, especially chairman sir.
Okay.
I sensed that it is a stress interview, so I maintained my cool.
Okay. So what was your dress code on the day?
Casual plain light blue color shirt, and then
Okay.
black trousers, that's it, and a tie, neat tie.
Okay.
Dark blue tie.
Okay.
Mm.
So just last few more general questions. We are almost done with the strategy part. You have explained each and every point very beautifully. Just few more questions. Being a senior player, what will be your suggestion for the future aspirants?
uh, I mean, don't take failures, I mean, seriously, and leave your preparation. Failures are part and parcel of the journey, so take failures as a learning and improve upon every attempt. And if you are an UPSC aspirant, focus more on the phase one part, especially the quantum reasoning part. And if you are a fresher and if you want to start the RBI preparation, please plan at least 6 months ahead before the notification, so that you will be in a comfortable position by the time of the exam. And
Okay. So there is
so
one question that is because you have mentioned the timeline, and for the RBI examination, current affairs play a major role in each of these phases, phase one as well as phase two, even in the this interview part.
yes,
So if we divide the current affairs for phase one, up to how much extent of coverage is required for the phase one? How much months of current affairs do one need to prepare? And for phase two also, please mention that.
I would say at least 4 months. I would say, suppose the exam is in March, so you have to prepare from December onwards. Start preparing in the reverse, like take March, February, and go for 4 months. Still, if you have time, read 2 more months till October and November.
And for phase
That's it.
two, the same will be the
Uh,
strategy.
I think the same would suffice, and whatever the mean gap is there between phase one and phase two, hardly 1 month will be there. You cover that 1 month extra. That's it.
Okay. And you have also referred about the source as newspaper. So there is any one particular newspaper that you want to suggest to our aspirants?
I used to read the Hindu till mains. After mains, when I came to know about I got selected for interview, I started reading Business Standard and Live Mint.
Okay.
Apart from Hindu.
Okay. So I think, Ravi, we have covered almost each and every aspect of your preparation. You are just, we can say, a source of inspiration for many of the future aspirants. They will be looking at you as a source of motivation for them. So thank you
Thank you.
so much for joining us. It is a pleasure having you here with us. Thank you so much. And we wish you a very happy journey ahead.
Thank you. Thank you, Veer, and thank you, Team EduCap.
Thank you so much.